Welcome to my podcast. Today I'll preview the Montreal Canadiens and the Nashville Predators for the upcoming NHL season, and I talk about Bounceback Players in the NFL. 2018-2019 NHL season preview featuring the Nashville Predators. After making it to the Stanley Cup Finals in the 2017-2018 season, the Nashville Predators were knocked out in the second round of the playoffs by the Winnipeg Jets. The Predators lost two players to free agency, Hudon and Alexis Emelin. However, they easily replaced Emelin by signing Dan Hamhuis, and E.Tolvanen-N is an upgrade over Hudon. Ryan Ellis was re-signed to an 8-year deal worth $6.25 million per season. Next offseason, P.Rinne is a UFA, while Kevin Fiala, Ryan Hartman, and Colton Sissons are RFAs. So it will be intriguing to see how the Predators sort this out. Heading into the 2018-2019 season, the Nashville Predators have a Stanley Cup contending team. The Predators have an elite goalie in P.Rinne, who was unbeatable when he is on top of his game. Their top four defense is as good as any in the league. Josi, Subban, Ekholm, and Ellis are all tremendous defensemen. They can play in all situations. The addition of Dan Hamhuis makes it even better. Offensively, the Predators have a very skilled top line of F.Forsberg-R.Johansen-V.Arvidsson. The second line is very solid as well, with K.Fiala-K.Turris-Cr.Smith. The second line is capable of providing good secondary scoring. The X-factor offensively for the Predators is E.Tolvanen-N, who was the Predators' first round pick in 2017. Tolvanen-N gives the Predators some skill on the third line, which adds to their offensive depth. The Nashville Predators have a good enough team to make a deep playoff run, but if P.Rinne plays bad again in the playoffs, they might have to give the reins to J.Saros. This is how the lineup looks like right now. The first line is F.Forsberg-R.Johansen and F.Arvidsson. Second line, K.Fiala-K.Turris-Cr.Smith. The third line is E.Tolvanen-N.Bonino-R.R.Hartman. Fourth line, J.Saros-C.Jarnkrok-A.Watson. First D pair is Roman-Josi and Ryan Ellis. Second D pair is M.Ekholm-PK Subban. Third D pair, M.Irwin-Y.Weber. Goalies are P.Rinne and J.Saros. 2018-2019 NHL season preview featuring the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens are coming off one of their worst seasons in franchise history. To make things worse, Shea is going to be out 5 to 6 months with an injury, which means the Canadiens will be one of the worst teams in the league until he returns. The captain, M.Pacioretty, has been mentioned in many trade rumors this offseason. Since he is UFA after this season, Canadiens should trade him. The Canadiens made one major trade in the offseason. They sent Alex Galchenyuk to the Arizona Coyotes for M.Domi. The Canadiens also acquired Steve Mason and J.Armia, as well as some draft picks from the Winnipeg Jets for Simone Bourque. Steve Mason was bought out shortly after the trade, but this trade was done for J.Armia. Heading into the 2018-2019 season, the Montreal Canadiens don't look very promising. The only reason the Canadiens could win some games is because of Price. When on top of his game, Price is the best goalie in the NHL. Unfortunately, the defense is so bad that I don't think even he could save the season. Right now, the first D pair of the Canadiens is D.Schlemko and Petry. The second pair of K.Alzner-N.Juulsen has potential, but Juulsen is a rookie. The Canadiens may have the weakest first line in the NHL. There is nothing about that top line that puts fear into opponents. The second line has three relatively young players that don't have a proven record. Their third and fourth line has some potential. They're actually pretty good. Unfortunately, their top two lines are not going to score a whole lot of goals. This means the Canadiens may end up being one of the lowest scoring teams in the league. The Montreal Canadiens can forget about making the playoffs. In fact, they have a better chance at finishing in the lottery. This is how the lineup looks like right now. The first line is M.Pacioretty-J.Jonathan Drouin and Brandon-Gallagher. Second line, M.Domi-P.Danault-A.Lehkonen. Third line, P.Byron-T.Plekanec-N.Scherbak. Fourth line, H.Udon-A.Shaw-J.Armia. First D pair is D.Schlemko and Petry. Second D pair, K.Alzner-N.Juulsen. Third D pair, V.Mete-Jo.Benn. Injured, Shea, Hemsky. Goalies, Price, A.Niemi. Check out my next season preview on the Minnesota Wild, the LA Kings, the Edmonton Oilers, and the Florida Panthers. Bounceback players in the NFL. Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck suffered a major setback last season, which forced him to miss the entire year. Now fully healthy, expect Andrew Luck to play like he did in 2016. David Johnson. In the 2016-2017 season, David Johnson rushed for 1,200 yards. However, in the first game of the 2017 season, Johnson suffered a season-ending injury. Now that Johnson is 100%, he has the goal to rush for 1,000 yards and also have 1,000 receiving yards in the same season. Robert Quinn. Robert Quinn suffered several injuries in 2015 and really struggled to regain his form. This offseason, the Rams traded him to the Dolphins for just a 4th round pick. A healthy and motivated Quinn should be a vital part of the Dolphins pass rush this season. Eric Berry. Last season, Eric Berry missed basically an entire season with a ruptured Achilles. Now that Berry is back and healthy, he should be a Pro Bowl caliber player once again. Next week, I'll be talking about sleepers in fantasy football. In my next podcast, I preview the Detroit Red Wings and the Dallas Stars for the upcoming NHL season, and I also talk about sleepers in fantasy football.